It steers us in the direction of who we want to be, where we want to go, and how much we're willing to strive to get there. At Maxis, we don't just recognize your desire to always be ahead. We welcome it. We recognize your determination and dedication to reach your fullest potential. We're excited to share our knowledge and experience to help you find your path. At Maxis, we celebrate diversity because it is the spark from which new ideas are born and shared. We put you in the forefront of change. Here, you'll find the dream opportunity to not only work with cutting-edge technology, but also the chance to deliver it to a nation geared towards moving ahead. Maxis is your gateway to endless possibilities. We believe in making dreams come to life. It's the secret to our success, which is why, to us, yours are the most important, because only together will we always be the head. We all dream of success, turning our ambitions into achievements, taking ourselves that one step further, or a level higher than we were before, a step ahead from what we were before. It steers us in the direction of who we want to be, where we want to go, and how much we're willing to strive to get there. At Maxis, we don't just recognize your desire to always be ahead. We welcome it. We recognize your determination and dedication to reach your fullest potential. We're excited to share our knowledge and experience to help you find your path. At Maxis, we celebrate diversity because it is the spark from which new ideas are born and shared. We put you in the forefront of change. Here, you'll find the dream opportunity to not only work with cutting-edge technology, but also the chance to deliver it to a nation geared towards moving ahead. Maxis is your gateway to endless possibilities. We believe in making dreams come to life. It's the secret to our success, which is why, to us, yours are the most important, because only together will we always be the head. We all dream of success, turning our ambitions into achievements, taking ourselves that one step further, or a level higher than we were before, a step ahead from what we were before. It steers us in the direction of who we want to be, where we want to go, and how much we're willing to strive to get there. At Maxis, we don't just recognize your desire to always be ahead. We welcome it. We recognize your determination and dedication to reach your fullest potential. We're excited to share our knowledge and experience to help you find your path. At Maxis, we celebrate diversity because it is the spark from which new ideas are born and shared. We put you in the forefront of change. Here, you'll find the dream opportunity to not only work with cutting-edge technology, but also the chance to deliver it to a nation geared towards moving ahead. Maxis is your gateway to endless possibilities. We believe in making dreams come to life. It's the secret to our success, which is why, to us, yours are the most important, because only together will we always be the head. We all dream of success, turning our ambitions into achievements, taking ourselves that one step further, or a level higher than we were before, a step ahead from what we were before. It steers us in the direction of who we want to be, where we want to go, and how much we're willing to strive to get there. At Maxis, we don't just recognize your desire to always be ahead. We welcome it. We recognize your determination and dedication to reach your fullest potential. We're excited to share our knowledge and experience to help you find your path. At Maxis, we celebrate diversity because it is the spark from which new ideas are born and shared. We put you in the forefront of change. Here, you'll find the dream opportunity to not only work with cutting-edge technology, but also the chance to deliver it to a nation geared towards moving ahead. Maxis is your gateway to endless possibilities. We believe in making dreams come to life. It's the secret to our success, which is why, to us, yours are the most important, because only together will we always be the head? We all dream of success, turning our ambitions into achievements, taking ourselves that one step further, or a level higher than we were before, a step ahead from what we were before. It steers us in the direction of who we want to be, where we want to go, and how much we're willing to strive to get there. At Maxis, we don't just recognize your desire to always be ahead. We welcome it. We recognize your determination and dedication to reach your fullest potential. We're excited to share our knowledge and experience to help you find your path. At Maxis, we celebrate diversity because it is the spark from which new ideas are born and shared. We put you
Welcome everyone to the live webinar session with Maxis. I am Eileen, an Executive Counselor in the UKC Careers Office, and I'll be your MC for today. We will start the webinar with Maxis to speak on building the workforce through young talents. The session will start off with a presentation, followed by a Q&A session. So throughout the session, if you have any questions, do leave your questions in the chat box, and our moderator will be addressing them during the Q&A session. Our moderator today is Savyendra Ganesan, Maxis Graduate Program Associate. Without further ado, I'll pass the mic to Savyendra.
Thank you, Irene. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday, and thank you so much for joining us today. We are really excited to be meeting all of you virtually. My name is Savyendra Ganesan, and I am a People and Organization Graduate Associate here at Maxis, and I will be your moderator for today's forum and panel discussion. I am joined by some pretty incredible speakers today, and I can't wait to introduce them to you. But before that, to everyone who's watching and to everyone who's tuning in today, please do note that we will be holding a live Q&A session at the end of our forum. So do send us any questions that you have, and I will be addressing them. So our speakers today will be sharing a lot of insights and their personal experience based on our topic, and that is building the future workforce through young talents. Before moving any more forward, it is my pleasure to have our very first speaker, Sunita, who is the head of the Young Talent team, for an introduction. Sunita, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Thanks so much, Savyendra. Hello everyone, happy Saturday. Thank you so much for tuning in to spend your time with Maxis this evening. I hope everyone is feeling great and excited. I know we are so excited to reach out to all the students in everywhere in UK or wherever you're tuning in through all the platforms. So maybe just a quick intro. I am Sunita. I'm the head of Young Talent at Maxis. I oversee all the Young Talent programs in Maxis, from scholarship, internship, and graduate programs. I have been working with young talents for the last 8 to 10 years of my entire professional work experience. I've enjoyed it tremendously, and I hope to continue working with more young talents, amazing young talents as yourself in the next few years to come. Just a bit about myself off work. I enjoy traveling. I also enjoy hiking. I try to travel to a new place every year, but I think I'm down by 2 locations because of MCO. And I've also, because of MCO, I've picked up TikTok as another platform of interest. So I guess we kind of pivot, with MCO, we kind of pick up new things. I learned a lot from young talents because of TikTok and, other latest trends. So that's a little bit about myself. Back to you, Savyendra.
Thank you, Sunita, and glad to have you joined us today. Next, we have Faye, who is also our Sales and Services Graduate Associate. Faye joined us last year. Hey, Faye, would you like to introduce yourself today?
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Faye Lee, and as Savyendra mentioned, I am part of the Sales and Services Graduate Associate Program. So basically about me, well, I graduated like 2 years ago, and prior to this job, I worked as a writer, but then eventually I found this opportunity and I decided to apply for the program. So my term was actually like the first pilot of the Sales and Services program, and it's been an exciting adventure with Maxis. Yeah.
Thanks, Faye, and I'm really looking forward to your sharing today. All right, let's move on to our last speaker, Amir Ashraf, who's also a graduate associate from the Tech Division. Ashraf, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Sabi. Hi, everyone. I'm Ashraf Asmadi. I joined Maxis as a Tech Graduate Associate. And so far about me, my journey in Maxis, I've been going through a lot of job operations. For the first one I was doing on the mobile side, and currently I'm doing for the front end on the back end side, which mainly handling for the database and API for the Maxis app. So yeah, back to you, Sabi.
Thank you, speakers, for the great introduction. I think we can just dive right into our forum today. I'm pretty sure our audience is really eager to hear directly from the three of you about our topic. So, over the years, inclusion and diversity has really been a hot topic, a hot conversation, and has gained a lot of traction in the corporate world. Having a workforce with diverse young talent definitely provides companies with an opportunity to build new capabilities and shape their workforce. So I would like to start the conversation by throwing this question to you, Sunita. What does inclusion and diversity at work look like in 2022, and how is Maxis playing a role in this?
All right, great. Thanks so much, Savindra. I think I&D is a topic that is very close to everybody's heart in Maxis. I think we thrive in an inclusive and diverse and collaborative environment. We especially welcome, diversity of thoughts, perspectives, as we feel, they outperform the usual traditional way of business. In terms of collaboration, there's far more excitement and a lot of innovative ideas come out when we work in that kind of collaborative environment. So in Maxis, for starters, we have recognized the importance of having an I&D. We've hired an I&D head to really oversee, put into place certain initiatives, policies and guidelines so that we are heading in the right direction. So I think one of, in the recent last year and a couple of months, there are a lot of initiatives coming on board, but one of the most significant ones, if I can add, would be, allowing or ensuring everyone goes through the unconscious bias training programs. I think this helps, and it spans across the recruitment efforts, even in terms of performance, how we look at performance of the employees and so on, right? So it's really to ensure there is equality between genders and between the diverse groups. So if we bring that down to young talents, right? So I think we've seen Maxis invest a lot in graduate programs, as we have two amazing talents here today, including yourself, Savindra, right? Because we see the value that young talents, their ideas, their opinions, their thoughts, that really adds value into the overall organization. So I&D, I cannot speak enough about it. We are all super excited, and it's a long journey, but we're on the right track.
Thank you so much, Sunita. And it's really great to hear the many initiatives taken at Maxis, right, to thrive in a very inclusive, diverse, and collaborative environment. And, when we talk about inclusion and diversity, we cannot forget about gender diversity, as it is also very important in the workforce. You did mention something about having women in Maxis as well, has some of the many other initiatives to increase women representation. And just a few weeks ago, we celebrated International Women's Day. So my next question goes to you, Faye. Could you maybe share with us your experience working with female leaders in Maxis that have broken barriers?
Yeah, for sure. So being a woman in Maxis, so for starters, I think it shows in the way that they hire, because, for example, my cohort, which is sales and services, they're like 5 girls and 2 guys. And I think in terms of hiring for the graduate associate program, there are a lot of women that they actively hire as well, which I think is a good practice that they're showing in trying to be more inclusive in the workforce. In terms of working in the workforce, I do think that they give a lot of opportunities for young women, and also their visibility in their time in Maxis. To be honest, I've actually mostly worked under men leaders during my rotations, but my final role and my final boss is a woman. And I think the experience has been really motivating, because I'm able to learn from her as a woman and how she navigates her leadership in meetings, projects, and like her work ethic, and I can compare it with how I previously worked under men leaders. But overall, I would say, if you don't already know, Maxis has like quite a flat hierarchy. So learning and collaborating is like, it has relatively less bureaucracy like compared to a lot of corporate places. And so I felt like my time as not only a woman, but also like a young talent, I felt like very heard. And I do think that they do give me opportunities to work through my ideas, and also they give me opportunities to voice them out or even ask difficult questions. And I do feel heard overall as a woman and during my time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Faye. And I do agree with you, right? Even me, myself, I've worked on so many projects with a lot of women leadership and women leaders as well. And I find myself constantly being empowered by them, to get out of my comfort zone, to get out of my comfortable shell, to put myself out there and be confident of my work. And I think that's something I'm really grateful for being here in Maxis. So my next question will be to Ashraf. Has briefly shared, we at Maxis, we have a very dedicated young talent team that focuses solely on managing young talents. So what's the young talent team about is that, we champion the development and management of the young talent gender by nurturing them to become a brighter talents in their career ahead. So Ashraf, from your journey in the graduate program so far, right, how has having a young talent community contributed to your overall experience?
Okay, thanks, Savi. For me, having a talent actually has been really helpful to me actually, because when joining Maxis as a new company for me, I as a new joiner need someone to guide me to deeply know more about the company business structure and what should I expected for the next 30 days I'm here, or maybe after 6 months here, and whom should I refer to if I got concerns to ask for. And here in Maxis, I felt really grateful actually, because they have young talent community who been guide us step by step on how to effectively path our career journey in Maxis since our first day onboarding up to now. And basically, every quarter we do have catch-up session with the young talent community. Like the latest one was, the latest one was yesterday, where we do play some game about superhero and villains. It sounds like childish, right? But that's one of the way for us to get in touch with other graduate associate. And basically, for me, young talent community is our first family before we get into our department. Yeah, back to you, Sabi.
Thanks, Ashraf. I really agree with you as well. Transitioning from a grad to being an employee in a workforce can actually be very, very scary. So it's always nice to have a community that you feel safe and that you can always reach out to help you whenever you feel like you're lost or you're unsure. Faye, maybe you'd like to add a bit more on that from your experience as well?
Yeah, I do agree with everyone as well. I think, especially if you're a fresh grad and you're coming into a corporate workforce, it can seem really daunting. And it is really good to know that you have a support system that you can always count on, and people can directly relate to your experience here. And I think, well, obviously, when you're working, you get a little busy and you get carried away with the work that you do. But I do think like from time to time, we're always reminded by the young talent team, oh, here's some events you can join. Here are some things that you can do together to bond and everything. And I think having that really helps us keep each other connected, especially when we're super busy and everything. And I think until today, everyone just has this bond that we probably cannot have with like anyone else, just because we come from similar experiences and we kind of are growing up together in Maxis. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Faye, and thank you, Ashraf, for sharing your inputs on this. All right, so I'll be moving on to my next question, and I'm pretty sure everyone who's tuning in will be curious about this, right? They say hiring young talents in the workforce, they bring fresh new perspective, ideas, and energy into the work. So, Sunita, as the head of the young talent team, right? What would you say are the benefits of hiring young talents?
Limitless, I mean, in terms of benefits. I think and I know it's not, I think, I know for sure. I mean, that's why I've been working with young talents for so many years, right? They not only keep me young at heart, in my thoughts, in my interests, in what's the latest, but from a professional standpoint, right? If we look at the young talents that we've brought in, they're all amazing talents in terms of how flexible they are, how agile they are in their mindset, their learning. They bring fresh perspective and insights into an area that, all of us who've been in the workforce for so long, we tend to always look at it from a different perspective or a very narrow angle to a certain extent. But sometimes they just come in and they have this brilliant creative idea on how to tackle it from a completely different angle, just because they are young, they are fresh, they are not influenced by any past experience, right? So, and they are fearless. I always associate young talents. They are fearless. They are always willing to try, and there's no boundaries to them. And I think that's what we value in Maxis, because now we are going through a digital transformation journey. We want to be the leading converged solutions provider. We want to leverage on technology. We need this kind of talent in our workforce, right? And of course, in terms of innovation, young talents are digital nomads, right? Technology is in their DNA. How quickly they can deploy into, creating new apps, just digitizing anything that has been done manually. And we see that in our interns, right? There has been a tremendous increase of interns over the years. We've had about 40 2 years ago. Now, last year we closed at 80. We are, it's almost double. And the requests for interns are coming even more fast and furious from hiring managers, because they just see the immediate value these young talents bring into the company. And the other word I was trying to find earlier was hungry. Young talents are always hungry. They want to know how they can contribute. How is this going to affect? And what the other area that we especially like is their focus on sustainability, right? I think this is also, and giving back to the society. These are two traits that we also see in the young talent, how to keep them humble. And, so this whole holistic, amazing advantages that the young talents bring to Maxis, as I said before, is limitless. So I cannot, there's not enough time for me to explain about how I find young talents and the amazing advantages they bring to any organization or team that they're in.
Thanks, Sunita. That's really great to hear. You mentioned about how these days young talents are digitally nomads, right? And they're really fast when it comes to tech. Cannot be denied that we are definitely seeing a lot of new workforce trends as we embrace the new normal in 2022. Most leading organizations have started implementing an entirely new working environment called the digital workplace. So Ashraf, as a tech graduate yourself, right, in Maxis, how do you see the young talents contributing to this new working environment, focusing mostly on technology and innovative practices? And maybe you could also highlight some innovative practices or initiatives that are more exclusive to Maxis as Malaysia's leading converged solution providers.
Okay, thanks, Avi. Basically, nowadays, innovations is a must for any kind of business to survive for long term. And Maxis, previously known as telecommunication companies, and now we have been innovate our business approach to become Malaysia leading converged solution provider with a fresh team for this year, which is Rangkaian Kita, Rangkaian Malaysia. But how does innovation contribute to the digital workplace? So we can't deny that COVID had made remote work or digital workplace have become very possible nowadays. We see many companies started to implement their own digital workplace using their own ways. Not to forget Maxis, we also have our own method to adapt with this COVID situation for the past 2 years. And basically in Maxis, we have been migrating most of our operations toward the cloud-based server which allow the Maxis employee to work at anywhere without need to be physically in the office. And for information, Maxis do have numbers of employee who currently not reside in Malaysia, but continue to work at their own respective country, such as Vietnam and India. One of the innovative product that I really wanted to highlight is we call it as a durian sense. You guys might think that how come Maxis get involved with durians? It's like totally does not make sense, right? Well, I mean, like with innovations, it does make sense. Even though I'm not directly involved with this innovation, but I'm proud as a young talent because one of our friend, his name is Kuhan, he's part of the innovation project. So basically the purpose of this project, or we call it a durian sand project, is to assist durian farmer to get insight on which net of area have caught the fallen durian. Basically with this data that they have, farmer able to know which net area they need to go through and pick up the durian and know what time does this durian fall from the tree. Because by doing traditional way, for farmer to harvest the durian, basically they need to stay in a small cabin for the whole day while listening to doom sound. I mean, like doom sound is a sound created by the fallen durian when it hit the ground by full with the dead leaf. If you guys have been to the durian farm, you may listen to this doom sound actually. I cannot create it, but because I cannot create that sound, but I can say the sound is seem like a doom sound. But to experience this, you must wait a couple of hours, or if you guys lucky, you may just need to wait just a couple of minutes. And because basically we actually the farmer and also we also don't know actually when durian will fall from the tree. Nowadays, the farmer have been installed net to avoid the fallen durian broken or even being stolen. With this innovation by Maxis, we call as durian sand, was to help durian farmer in saving their operation cost and time. And for me to conclude is the most important key is the digital workplace approach that we have implemented for the past 2 years was very, very successful actually for me because we able to meet and align with our business and the financial goal. Yep. Back to you, Sabi.
No, thank you so much. That's really interesting, right? Because when I also first heard of the whole durian science project, it definitely piqued my interest. I was like, wait, what? That's possible with durian? Just hearing from you, we can actually say that how tech has evolved over the years as well as innovation. All right, so I'll move on to my next question. So, we talked about inclusion and diversity. We talk about women in the workforce as well as tech and innovation. So I would like to ask more about the work culture, right? Every company has different work culture, I would say. And workplace culture is the environment that you create for your employees. Positive work culture leads to happiness and satisfaction. So Sunita, my question goes to you. What is the work culture like at Maxis?
Okay, we get asked this question quite often whenever we have any campus engagements, and I think it's a valid question, right? A lot of young talents would like to know the home work, that they are going into in the corporate world, right? I like to use this line: a happy employee is a productive employee. Right? So when you're happy at your workplace, you enjoy the people that you work with, you enjoy what you do or how you contribute as an individual, you enjoy the whole, the vibe when you go to office, right? I think that's very, very important. And collaboration. So if another way of putting it is collaboration, because we like to collaborate as much as we can. We feel the other thing is the dream makes the, oh gosh, there was a famous line that I just forgot about it, but it's always about teamwork, right? You can never achieve anything on your own. It's always a team effort. So collaboration is key at Maxis. People who are team players, willing to go the extra mile, sharing the same vision is a necessity. And I think that's the reason why we also have our Maxis Way 2.0 culture values, because it's important that everyone is aligned to a few of our culture values, so that we're all in the right path, in the same path, towards achieving our vision, right? So adaptability is also very important, and I acknowledge this because young talents, especially those who have just graduated, coming from the campus to or from classroom to the boardroom, or from campus to the corporate world, is a huge transition, right? If you're going for lectures every day and so on, right now it's a completely different environment. So I think adaptability is also important, for any young talents coming into the corporate world, and especially in Maxis, because we work in a very fast-paced environment, because we want to keep up, and our vision is always be ahead. If you see all of our EVP, right, our employee value proposition, we always want to ensure that we are always trying to think what we can do next. How do we stay ahead in the game? How do we innovate so that we are always giving the best to our customers? How do we want to ensure that we are ensuring that we are giving delightful moments to our customers? So all of this is important to put it into a culture value, so that everyone, whether you're in HR, you're in finance, or you're in tech, in IT, we are all governed by a certain culture value that's called our Maxis Way 2.0. Yeah, back to you, Savi.
Thank you, Sunita, for sharing some insights on that. And again, when you speak about Maxis or just work in general, right, you cannot omit the part of the fun part of it, right? So our audience might be wondering, apart from work, like what do we do for fun, or like what do we do to disconnect from work for a while? Faye, maybe you can share with us a little bit about your life at Maxis experience and journey.
For sure, yeah. So as I mentioned previously, like Maxis has a pretty flat hierarchy. So we have a pretty open office space, which is really nice because you're not confined to cubicles and you don't have this core corporate environment where you feel this bureaucracy a lot. And even the C-levels themselves, they sit with everyone and you can easily access your managers and everything. But yeah, in terms of like office culture, it is overall a pretty high-tech environment. And I think Maxis, they aspire to be this Google-like environment, which takes a lot of getting used to at first, but when you get used to it, you eventually realize that it adds to your work satisfaction and also efficiency. And there is also a lot of dressing down in Maxis as a culture. And I think this is not common in a lot of corporate, but having this culture just allows everyone to be comfortable while being able to do their work efficiently. Yeah, and speaking of high tech, they also do, well, Maxis has this thing where they like to have a lot of games, and these games allow you to win Grad vouchers and one of the many prizes that you get to get. And it is nice because you get to join these to de-stress, but at the same time, like you can network with other colleagues from different departments or just people that you want to get to know. Yeah. And I thought it was pretty nice to have all these games on the side while I was working at the same time, and especially because everyone's working from home. So it just keeps you engaged on top of the work that you do while you're not enjoying the office. Yeah.
Thank you, Faye. Maybe Ashraf, you want to add a bit more on that about your experience as well?
Yeah, can. Thanks, Savi. But for me, I can't really share about my working experience from the office because actually I never went to the office since my first day due to the COVID restrictions. But I'm really excited to go back to the office later because we'll be back to the office starting this April. So I just gonna share about my experience working from home since I joined Maxis last year. For me, I would say it's been a very roller coaster journey for me because working from home, I got a lot of situation need to handle all. Because currently, even though I stay at home with my parents, even though I have my own rented place to stay nearby the office. The reason why I say roller coaster journey is because from my commitments to the works Then I got my brother to pick up from their schools as both my parent works. And also I got my grandparent to take care of, where she has been stay with us for the past 2 years. And also last but not least, I also have a couple of cats, which need to take care of daily, especially when they tend to get pregnant every quarter. I don't know which cat actually did that to our cat, but it really get annoyed because my cat still got their kitten to feed on. So this situation actually really forced me to be a multitasking person and taught me how to properly manage my time toward my work commitment and also family time. Yeah, back to you, Sabi.
Thanks, Ashraf. Like you both shared from home sometimes can be mentally taxing as well when you don't have the physical connection with the employees. So it's nice to see how we have all these activities. So we just like to add on a bit more, right? At Maxis, we have an employee experience team that is dedicated in curating fun activities for the employees. We had like esports, cooking classes, Zumba classes, everything that's being done virtually because of the pandemic. So there are actually a lot of different types of activities to suit different people and their interests. We even had virtual stand-up comedy last year with some really well-known comedians such as Dr. Jason Young, Kumar, and even Douglas Lim. I was definitely excited being able to attend for all of this because, after a very long day of work, you just want to take a short break from it. So these virtual activities has definitely kept me going. All right, so my next question goes to all three of our speakers, right? Also because everyone is watching, they're probably going to be graduating soon and will be looking for a job. Maybe I can start with Sunita. Sunita, you were once a graduate yourself, and here you are now as the head of the Young Talent team, right? If there is one advice you could give to graduates out there, or even to yourself when you were a graduate, what would it be?
Okay, one only, Savi.
More than one will do also.
Okay, I'll stop at two. I think one would be have a curious mindset. They say curiosity killed the cat. I don't think that's true. You need to have a curious mind. You need to ask questions. You need to want to know how things work. So just be curious, stay curious. And the other advice I would say is always have keep the learning agility. You may think that, once I've graduated, I'm earning now, okay, I'm done with tests and exams and so on. But I think learning can come in many forms, and learning and development is something that we truly value in Maxis. Learning never stops. It is a continuous journey. I'm still learning every day. I'm learning from you, Sabi. I'm learning from the two great, from Faye and Amir as well. I'm always learning from everyone. So always maintain that learning agility. Yeah, that's two from me.
Thank you, Sunita. And how about Faye? How about you? It could be more than two also.
Personally, for me, I think as fresh graduates, especially in program like this, because I do think that a lot of fresh graduates are looking for like management training programs, and I think in order to stand out, it's always good to go above and beyond. And I don't mean like the usual practice like OT until super long or just all these things, but just in the work that you do, like I think it's helpful to put in a bit more thought into what you do, and when you do something, do it with intention instead of like, I'm doing this just for the sake of it. And I think knowing why you do what you do is always really important because it helps you get aligned with your goals, and it helps you show that you know what you're doing and you know what it takes to get there. And I think that is what helps make a graduate stand out. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Faye. And Ashraf, anything you want to add on to that?
Yeah. If I were to advise myself as the fresh graduate, right, I would say three things. Which is the first one is the focus on discipline yourself first. Second is start to set your goals life early, and then last but not least is to learn to take risks early. For me, focus is one of the underrated skill nowadays, because if you really put your focus on doing 2 to 3 things every day toward your goals life, in the next couple of you'll be totally in a different situations And maybe for the next 5 to 10 years, it will be very big distinction, and your life won't be the same. Success actually won't happen overnight. So be prepared to fail many times before you're able to see a bright side at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, back to you, Savi.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, speakers, for sharing today. I have one last question, and that goes to Sunita regarding the young talent opportunities that exist. But before that, I would like to share a video to everyone here about our young talents programs that we have. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay.
Our mission is to empower you to turn your ambitions into achievements. That's why we are always investing in today's young talents to become leaders of tomorrow. Designed to help prepare you for a challenging yet rewarding career ahead, Maxis offers you a holistic learning experience through our diverse graduate programs that cater to your passions and interests. With the Maxis graduate program, you can choose from different fields of interest such as tech, finance, and more. Grab the opportunity to learn from our industry-leading experts and accelerate your career journey in the field of your choice. We offer internship programs for undergraduates, postgraduates, and even fresh graduates, providing you with a meaningful hands-on work experience across different specializations. Not only will you get to work with some of the best and brightest, but you'll also be able to participate in innovative projects to bring the best of technology to people, business, and the nation to ensure they will always be ahead. We also offer a variety of scholarship programs because we believe that no one should be left behind. That is why we are offering the Maxis Tech Scholarship, Maxis Women in Tech Scholarship, and Maxis Young Leader Scholarship to bright and ambitious young Malaysians with big aspirations. Regardless of your background or where your interests lie, Maxis is where you can thrive and realize your ambitions. With us, the only way is to always be ahead.
All right, so over to you, Sunita, to share a bit more about the young talent opportunities and programs that we have here at Maxis.
Sure, thanks, Savi. So as I mentioned earlier, right, as a head of young talent, I oversee a couple of very, very important programs that we have in Maxis. And as you can see here, we have our Maxis graduate programs, we have our scholarship programs in internship, and we've also added a new program as of December last year, which is our Maxis Protégé program. So from the graduate programs, and as you can see from what Faye have shared together with Amirul, we have completely changed the type of graduate programs that we offer. From the traditional rotation programs, we have moved into a division-specific graduate program. As you see, we have sales and services, people and organization, and so on. The reason why we have revamped, because over the time, we have come to realize that a lot of young talents these days, they actually know exactly where their passion or interest lie. So rather than going into the traditional rotational model where you have a stint in finance, for example, in HR, in IT, it's very different. And sometimes maybe after that entire rotations, you may still be confused as when you first came in. So taking a lot of feedback, doing some research, we launched a completely new format of graduate programs in 2021, which we call division specific. So we have 7 graduate programs that we launched last year, and we brought in over 27 graduates across all divisions. So it's very interesting. If some of you already know which area that you would like to start your career with, do browse it's not launched yet. We will be launched in a few months' time, but these are the division specific graduate programs that you can start thinking about applying if you're going to be graduating soon. Yeah. For the Maxis Scholarship programs, this is applicable only to those in their first year, and also in the 3 different areas, which is the Tech Scholarship, Women in Tech, and the Young Leaders. And for internship, I think I don't have to elaborate more. I think that's pretty very common. I'm sure many of you have taken internships, have completed, or maybe looking for internship programs in the near future. So for Protégé, I think this is a government, we are collaborating with the government to work on a one-year Protégé program. This is new. And it's also for those who have been unemployed for a certain amount of time, but want to take up or at least be engaged with certain companies to acquire new skills, upskill themselves. They can do that within the 1 year under the Protégé program in Maxis. All right. Okay, back to you, Sabi.
Thanks, Sunita. Thanks for sharing about the young talent opportunities and programs we have here at Maxis. Just a quick plug-in. Please do scan and vote for us for Graduate's Brand Award. Maxis, we are beyond than just a telco company. In fact, we are way ahead of it. So I'm just going to give you guys a few seconds to maybe just get your phone and just scan. If you can't do it now, you can always do it later. Okay, so with that, another thing to add on, please do connect with us online. If you are curious about what Sunita has just shared in terms of the programs and opportunities, you can always head on to our Maxis website and go to the students and graduates section, where you can find any information about the graduate program, the internship, and the scholarship. When will it be launched? What are the requirements, and etc. Please do also connect with us on LinkedIn as well as on Instagram with our IG handle live at Maxis. I would encourage everyone who's watching to give us a shout out on LinkedIn and tag us at Maxis to share your experience and any key takeaways that you have from our session today. And we might even connect with you. And if there's any opportunities that we see in the future, we will definitely reach out to you. All right, so we have actually come to the end of the session, and I'm seeing a lot of questions in the chat. So I am going to read some of it, and let me just have a quick look at that. All right, so our first question is from Aaron Hillary. He asked, am I at a disadvantage if I've never done any internships, and does it affect my job opportunities? Maybe Sunita, you can take this question.
Sure. That's a great question, right? I think that sometimes a lot of talents feel that, everyone is taking 3, 4, 5 internships, not sure how they kind of pack it into their tight schedule, versus some of them who may not be able to take any internship. So I think, of course, I have to say, if you can fit in an internship at any point of your study life, that will be great. It doesn't have to be 6 months. It can even be 3 months. It's not the duration that matters. It's the learning or key takeaways that matters. But on the extreme side, if you are not able to take in any internship, for whatever reasons, it's also not a delimiting factor. I think what's important is to also we would also look at your extracurricular activities while you're in campus. The reason why is we want to ensure that we are hiring a holistic talent, right? Of course, you may be side, but we may also want to look at the non-academic side, the other soft skills that you would have acquired if you are taking up extracurricular activities. So if no internship, not to worry, then we will zoom into your extracurricular activities.
All right, thanks, Sunita. Okay, so the next question is from Chua Yuji. How do you effectively sell yourself to potential employees? I think for this question, I will get both Faye and maybe Ashraf to share on this. Faye, maybe you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. How do you sell yourself? So I'll just give a little bit of my own experience applying for this program. So I think this is pretty standard for a lot of management training programs where you go into like assessment centers and they put you in case studies and groups. I think a good way to really sell yourself is show how collaborative you can be in a group. And I think it's also good to be a team player, especially I'm just speaking for this, like from my experience in our assessment centers. And I think it also helps to be assertive, but not mindlessly assertive. You have to know what you're talking about, and also at the same time, study the case as long as you can, even if you have a time limit and all that. But I think ultimately how you want to sell yourself is, I think before every interview is to do a good read up on the industry and learn about what is happening in the industry that you are applying for. And then if you have roughly a good knowledge about that, I think that's when it shows your commitment and your dedication to the job that you're applying to.
Thanks, Faye. And how about you, Ashraf? Is there anything you want to share?
Yeah, there's some point actually, but most of it I think it's been taken. I mean, it's been said by Faye. So I just want to add just a couple of points. Basically, how to actually sell yourself to potential employer is, of course, the first thing where you attend the interview, you really have to know what the business structure of that company is about. And normally the question that they will ask you mainly related to the role that you apply. For example, if you apply for the tech role in the mobile apps, so you need to know at least to have a little bit knowledge about the mobile app, how does it work, and then how does it been run. So yeah, that's all for my side. Back to you, Savi.
All right, thank you so much. I'm seeing a bit more of interesting questions as well. So, Sunita, maybe you can answer this. So it's from Nicole, and Nicole is asking, how is Maxis dealing with massive waves of burnout that we see in the workforce post-pandemic?
Okay, thanks, Nicole, for that question. Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question. So there are many ways that we try to minimize. I don't think we can totally eliminate the burnout, because every individual copes with working from home stress, mental health stress differently, right? But I think what we have done, especially when MCO first hit, when everyone had too much screen time, our employee engagement and employee experience team really had a lot of things that they really needed to look at. Because even if we were doing a lot of activities that we were doing physically before, having transitioning them to a virtual platform still requires them to screen, to have additional screen time. So everyone's having screen fatigue and so on. But what if I can share? I mean, there's so many, but if I can share one area, was having, as you mentioned earlier, right, Savindra, the virtual stand-up comedy. I think that sort of really, people kind of looked at it at, okay, I'm going for a comedy show rather than I'm going to spend some time in front of the screen. It's really because, Douglas Lim, Dr. Jason, and all of these unknown comedians, definitely it was not easy to secure them. But I think we have an amazing employee experience team who went above and beyond to really secure the time. And when, from the feedback that we got from anyone even I attended, and I laughed so much. I mean, even, my family was saying, you're laughing at the screen, is everything okay? But, it's really, we have just transitioned, make the best of what we can. And pivoting very quickly to help the employees manage and cope with the burnout or whatever challenges that they've had because of the pandemic.
Thank you, Sunita, for that. Nicole also has a follow-up question, by the way. She said, as a STEM student, I am interested in knowing what is the future outlook of the tech industry in Malaysia. Maybe apart from Sunita, Ashraf could also share a bit more about the tech landscape in Maxis as well.
So I go first, or Ashraf?
Yeah. So I think, Sunita, you can go first.
Okay, I think Ashraf, you're probably the more expert here in this area. So maybe I will let you take the lead in this.
Okay. Thank you, Sunita. Yeah, I would agree. Basically, tech industry in Malaysia basically will be very blooming actually, because when we talk about tech, right, it's a very large industry where you can choose either to be a mobile developer, web developer, data scientist, or even like blockchains or IoT security. It's a very huge industry actually. You just need like to pick up which one you like to pursue based on your goal life. And basically in the future, there's gonna be like more incoming technology about the blockchain. If you guys know about Web3, crypto, metaverse. This technology from the future it's very uncertainty. But if you guys take part early in this topic, you guys will be advantageous in the future. So you just this question from Nico, right? So I think you just need to find what your goal life is and then proceed with it. Yeah. Back to Sunita.
Whatever Ashraf said, I second that.
All right, thank you, Ashraf, and thank you, Sunita. We have one last question from Virami. Are there any post-pandemic work ethics or practices that Maxis will be looking for in their future employees? Maybe Faye and Sunita can share a bit on this. Sunita, do you want to go first?
Okay. Sorry, Savi, can you just repeat the question so that I get the full context?
Are there any post-pandemic work practices or ethics that Maxis will be looking for in their future employees?
Okay. So I think because of the pandemic, right, it has caused Maxis to look at things very differently from many perspectives. If I can maybe just highlight one, it would be the hybrid work, right? So working from home was also something very new to Maxis, 2 years ago. So and we've kind of transitioned very seamlessly when we needed to, right? So this is kind of, and I don't think this is just Maxis. I think there are many forward-thinking employers who are looking at a hybrid workforce in the future, because a lot of employees, after going through the MCO and the pandemic, has also kind of changed their priorities a little bit. Maybe some may be looking at a more even work-life balance than they have before, or of that sort. So definitely trying to put together a hybrid workforce or work arrangement is something that we are working very or putting a lot of effort into seeing how we can implement that in the future. I mean, it's still in the early stages, but it's definitely, the pandemic has caused us to look at this in a more serious manner, because it is definitely there is a lot of requests coming from our employees regarding the hybrid workforce. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Sunita. And maybe you want to share from the standpoint of as an employee?
Yeah, sure. So as an employee, I felt that there wasn't too much of a difference between like working in the office and working from home. I mean, well, pretty much the only difference is you get to see people and you get to work with your team, and sometimes it's easier because you get to learn from the team. But I do think that ultimately, in terms of like post-pandemic work practices, I don't think there will be too big of a difference. I think in terms of work time and also the work that you do, it is roughly the same. And as long as, you put 100% into what you do, it will always be like that. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. We have actually come to the end of our forum and our session today. To everyone who's watching and tuning in, I hope you have found the session informative and insightful, and that you have learned a lot about Maxis. Thank you again, and thank you to Grad for giving us this opportunity. Over to you.
Thank you, Savindra, and all the speakers. We have come to the end of this webinar, and I hope all of you have enjoyed the session. Stay tuned, we'll be having our next webinar at 6:30 Malaysian time or 10:30 a.m. UK time with EY, UOB, and KPMG, who will be presenting the topic, the evolving workplace beyond the pandemic. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
We all dream of success, turning our ambitions into achievements, taking ourselves that one step further, or a level higher than we were before, a step ahead from what we were before. It steers us in the direction of who we want to be, where we want to go, and how much we're willing to strive to get there. At Maxis, we don't just recognize your desire to always be ahead. We welcome it. We recognize your determination and dedication to reach your fullest potential. We're excited to share our knowledge and experience to help you find your path. At Maxis, we celebrate diversity because it is the spark from which new ideas are born and shared. We put you in the forefront of change. Here, you'll find the dream opportunity to not only work with cutting-edge technology, but also the chance to deliver it to a nation geared towards moving ahead. Maxis is your gateway to endless possibilities. We believe in making dreams come to life. It's the secret to our success, which is why, to us, yours are the most important, because only together will we always be the head. We all dream of success, turning our ambitions into achievements, taking ourselves that one step further, or a level higher than we were before, a step ahead from what we were before.